Hey folks, welcome back to the Pterodome. As you can see, things aren't looking good. Due to global boiling, the ship is now floating adrift, aimlessly on this, well, what was once an ice planet, but now it's an ocean planet. Oh god. Well, I was about to head out to check out that JP Merchoid ship, but I don't know what's going to happen now. So, I don't know if I could do a video today, guys. I was going to talk about the mazy retcon in Jurassic World Dominion, but that's off the table. Oh, God. What the hell's that out the window? Oh my God. It's a megalodon. What's this? Oh no.
Jonas, we need your help.
3 megs and who knows what else have escaped the trench.
I like the plan here. I'm gonna kill them all. One by one.
Rock and roll.
Come on.
Men to the trench. Rated PG-13.
Ow. What happened? Oh man. The megalodon is now dragging the ship underwater. Oh, and worst of all, I bumped my head and had a dream that I went to go see the Meg 2, the trench. Oh man. Well, hopefully the Pterodome structure will hold so the water won't leak in. But just in case, I'll don this child's life jacket. I guess I'll have to do it. It's the only one I've got. Oh man. Well, I might as well tell you about what I thought about the Meg 2, at least what I saw of it in my head. The film was pretty fun, actually. From start to finish, I was entertained. It knew exactly what it was. You know, it reminded me of someone taking the Fast and Furious movies, or at least the later Fast and Furious movies, and Jurassic World, and putting them in a blender, and you get the Meg. So I guess that all the articles that you see out there online wishing that Jurassic and Fast and Furious would merge into some stupid cockamamie franchise which will never exist on my watch, well, they could be satisfied watching the Meg, because it's pretty much what it is. I'm talking about the Meg 2, but, and I guess the Meg 1, but I'll give you some context of my relationship to the Meg movies. I saw the Meg 1 a few years ago. I didn't go to the cinema and see it. I don't know, there was just something about it. I was like, I'm not really in the mood to watch this film. Even though it's like right up my alley, I didn't really fancy watching it. And when I did come around to watching it, you know, I wasn't overly impressed. I like the bit where they think they've killed the Meg, and then the bigger Meg turns up and chomps down on it and starts to like roll their boat over. That whole sequence was great. But the rest of the movie, I don't know, it just seemed like typical stuff. There wasn't anything there that really made me go, this stands out. The Meg 2, however, gave me a little bit more of what I was looking for with the first one. It knew exactly what it was. It was stupid, over the top, and it was fun. It was just having fun with the premise. So the story, in a nutshell, basically follows Jason Statham's character, whose name I can't remember right now. He survived from the first movie, and he's world renowned as this, shark killer, or megalodon killer, should I say? And he goes with an expedition down to this trench, which is below this like sort of barrier of oxygen or gas, which is underwater. This pocket, this trench underwater is full of like prehistoric animals from a bygone era. And after they find this sort of illegal drilling operation going on, which was operating right under their nose from the same company, these explosives, these detonators are set off, and they breach the sort of oxygen layer, which protects protects the world from these animals, and they get out and wreak havoc. Now I say animals, it's not just megalodons in this movie, which is one of the reasons why I kind of thought I'm probably going to have to talk about this film on this channel, because in the trailer there was a T-Rex right there, so I was like, okay, there's dinosaurs in this movie. And they even showed a shot in one of the trailers of a guy hitting this sort of dinosaur, prehistoric creature looking animal in this grass. So my anticipation going in, because I only saw one trailer, was that there was going to be like quite a few prehistoric animals in this film, which there isn't really. There's the dinosaurs at the beginning, at the prologue, right before the credits start, and then mainly it's the megalodons, 3 megalodons actually in this movie, a giant octopus, and these sort of amphibian reptile dog-like things, which I have no idea what they are. They're pretty much all that's in the movie in terms of the main creatures. I do kind of wish they had like some other prehistoric creatures like a mosasaur or a leopleurodon or something like that to turn up and create more havoc, but perhaps they're saving that for the next film, because the rip in the oxygen layer in the movie is still there. As far as I'm aware, there wasn't a line of dialogue that mentioned that they'd closed that up or something, so anything could come out of the trench now. On the topic of what comes out of the trench, I want to mention the octopus before I get into the rest of the movie. The octopus is really funny because since going back and watching some of the trailers and stuff, they really promoted this octopus being in the film, and it is in there for the most part. And obviously people were like, oh, it's like a kraken versus a megalodon, and there is a fight sequence between the two, but it's quite short. Well, it's actually very short, and it kills a few people, but it doesn't really do much in the movie. None of the characters, as far as I'm aware, even talk about it. Like, obviously they react to it. The little girl at one point gets picked up, or one of her dad or something, or her uncle, or I don't know who these characters are. I don't really follow along. They get picked up and they're like fighting it, but no one goes like, oh my god, there's a giant octopus. There's no, like in the first film when Jason Statham sees the megalodon, he's like, oh my god, it's a megalodon, or whatever he says. There's nothing like that. So it's kind of strange that they have all these fantastical creatures coming out of this trench and no one really talks about the octopus. They talk about the little amphibian reptile things, but the octopus goes sort of not really talked about. Again, I've seen it once in my dream, so maybe they mentioned it, but I missed it. I don't know. All the action's really fun. I mean, the last 30 minutes of the movie is where it like really shines and just goes balls to the wall insane. It is like one of those sort of asylum movies, but with an absolutely massive budget and great special effects. And the middle of the film, I've seen a few people talk about how they thought the middle of the film was lagged a little bit. I kind of agree with that to a certain extent, but as someone who likes nautical stuff, I liked all the underwater suit action, which was just insane and stupid. And they're like fighting the monsters underwater, and they've got the megalodons on their tail. And there's this like underwater base where they're in, and they have to like flood rooms and go out and then hold their breath and go out and unlock doors from the outside. And it's kind of like, take Deep Blue Sea, The Abyss, Jurassic World, Michael Crichton's Sphere, put that all in a blender and throw in a couple of asylum movies, and you get the Meg 2, The Trench. It is a good time. I will highlight that one of my favourite moments in the movie, actually two of my favourite moments in the movie, they were in the trailers, but there's the bit where a megalodon tries to grab Jason Statham and it creates a tidal wave, and he rides it with the spear with an explosive on the end, and he like sticks it in the head of a megalodon, killing it. That was great. That's the stuff I really like. And there's a bit where it like chomps the pier, and the megalodon's caught in chains, so it can't quite get him, and he's there with his feet on its mouth as it's chomping away. That was really fun. Actually, tell a lie. My favourite moment is actually the death scene of the main megalodon in the movie, because there's this helicopter crash, and Jason Statham is on these rocks, and he picks up one of the like broken off pieces of the rotor blade, which is still massive, and he's there going, and he jams it in some rocks, and as the megalodon comes up, it opens up its mouth and gets impaled right through the head. and you get a good sense of scale of how massive this shark is to our dear Jason. It's just ridiculous. It was the same as the death sequence at the end of the best crocodile movie in the world, Rogue. The end of that film, you know, the crocodile gets his head impaled on a stick that the guy jams into some rocks. It's a pretty stereotypical death sequence, but in this movie, and so it was just nice to see this insane shot to cap it all off. Something else I wanted to mention, it just came to mind. Oh yes, there's a piece of camera work in here which I thought was actually really innovative, and I had not seen done, as far as I'm aware, in a shark movie since Jaws 3. But the camera at one point was inside the shark's body as it was like gulping down loads of people off the coast of this island, and the sound it made when the mouth was closing was like gulp, gulp, and it was pretty impactful and pretty horrifying, because you could hear all the people, you know, because the mouth is so huge, loads of water was being sucked in, and they were just screaming their heads off, and it was pretty horrifying. For a brief moment I was like, the fun went, and I was like, oh, that's actually pretty disturbing, and then it just went back to being ridiculous. But yeah, acting corny as hell. I don't really remember any of the characters' names. The effects are great. The music's forgettable, but I guess it served the movie because it, you know, got you pumped up at times. I guess I don't know where to place this, if it's a good movie or a bad movie, but I'll say this, I was entertained from start to finish, and if a movie entertains me, then I guess it's good. So 2 thumbs up from me. I might pick this one up to have on the Terradome to watch, if, you know, the actual Blu-ray is anything like my dream version of the movie. But what I saw in my head was very entertaining, so I guess all I have to say now is, well done, China. And, well, I guess I'll see where this shark takes me. See you in the next video, folks.